Alright, this is the test. Secrets of the Soul, as you can see and read, hopefully. Another game that's supposed to ask you questions and learn a bit about yourself, or whatever. We'll see what it is. Blah. Hopefully it reads a little bit and I don't need to read everything. Nope. Every angel has a demonic past, and every demon has an angelic future, if one so wishes it to be. From the Madman. I, the Madman. You find yourself on the inside of a desolate chapel in the throes of a midnight storm. The rain pelts the windows like falling stones, and the wind rages on as the chapel doors tremble. After a quick glance around the room, you hear a low, grizzled voice growl at you from the darkness, beckoning you in. Well, hello, Wanderer. It's a pleasure to find you here. Come in from the rain. Yeah, I would definitely trust this face. Or this face. One of the faces I trust. Come in from the rain, rest your weary bones, for we have much to talk about. It looks like the storm is going to last a while, Wanderer. Make yourself comfortable. I don't think you'll be going anywhere for some time. We should find something to pass the time, don't you think? Perhaps we should get acquainted with one another. I'd love to learn all about you. I'm sure your soul is full of stories, Wanderer. I bet you have delicious secrets deep inside, too. Like my liver. Of course you have an idea. I'm going to ask you some questions and you're going to answer them for me. Very, very honestly. That way I'll have the opportunity to get to know you. See, like something that eats our emotions. The real you. Nah. Now don't you lie to me, Wanderer. No one likes a liar. In the end, I will tell you what you see. See, everyone likes a liar until they learn the truth, though. Deep within your soul. Doesn't that sound like fun? Of course it does. Yes, let's get started. You've asked like 30 times. Make yourself comfortable as we delve deep into your mind. We'll begin now. Do you know what the meaning of life is? 42. Do you believe beauty is ageless? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that much is true. In that case, yes. But like physical beauty, no. Emotional or mental beauty, not really. So I'm going to say no, because definitions of beauty change over time, too. Do you believe a human being can produce something perfect? No, there's no such thing as perfection. There's always some slight flaws. There's always something wrong. I believe inspiration can be created by oneself. Absolutely, you can inspire yourself. You can mentally do mental gymnastics to force yourself into doing something you don't want to do. Or convincing yourself, like when people go through depression and sometimes they end up pulling themselves out and don't get help or don't need anything. And they inspire themselves to be better and get better. If you do need help, seek help, obviously, but some people are like that. Would you say art is an integral part of life? Art being music or paintings or whatever you define art as, yes, absolutely. Or video games as art, if you want to go that route. Because people need art, because art is a form of relaxation or de-stressing or a part of life that's not work or production based. Would I consider myself to be a talented individual? Talented at some things, yes. Other things, hell no. Can I sing? Can I dance? Can I do any of that? Absolutely fucking not. Can I talk someone off a bridge? Sometimes, yeah. Do you believe being beautiful is an advantage of life? It absolutely, unfortunately, is, because beautiful people get their way easier. People trust them better. If you're ugly, like, nobody wants to take your picture. Nobody wants to do anything with you. But if you're beautiful, you get things for free. It's unfortunately yes, but it should be now. You think you care more about your own appearance than others care about your appearance? Yes and no. Like, I don't need to be in a suit and tie every day, but I keep myself, shaven correctly and, hygienic and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think others care about it all that much because I'm already in a relationship. I already have what I need. So I don't think others care that much because my appearance isn't like offensive or disgusting or anything. So I don't think anybody really pays attention or cares. So yeah, I guess I worry about myself more than others. Do you believe art can be judged? Art can absolutely be judged because art has different meaning to everybody. Some people like video games, some people don't. Some people like the Statue of David. Some people want to tear it down because it has a nudity part in it because they're morons. So art can be judged, but art can also be judged incorrectly. I believe people should be judged. Yes, people absolutely should be judged. People do wrong things, and sometimes they need to be held accountable and told they did wrong things. Granted, sometimes people don't realize they've done wrong things, but you still need to be held accountable. You still need to be judged for it because, depending on what you believe, if you believe in your Christianity or the Bible or what the fuck ever, you shouldn't judge. But in the reality of the real world, where things actually exist, yes, people need to be judged, or else they do whatever the fuck they want all the time. Like, you shouldn't need a rule book to be a good person. I mean, some people do because they're, morons and they fall on that side of things. But, yeah, people should be judged. Do you believe there are certain things that exist that we cannot perceive with our senses? Yes, not necessarily ghosts or something like that, but just what it says, something we can't perceive with our senses. There are things out there that we don't understand. There are things that are going on. The universe is unfathomably large. Like, your average person can't understand the distance between Earth and the Sun, or Earth and the Moon even, let alone how huge everything is. There could be things out there we don't understand. And there could be things right here at home we don't understand because we can't figure it out because we can't see it or hear it or understand it. So, sure. Would you say you often lack motivation? Absolutely. Do you believe originality exists? Originality is hard to find because a lot of things are, influenced by something else. But that doesn't necessarily negate originality in the project. Something can be very similar or inspired from one thing, but still be its own original thing itself. So nothing's 100% original. Like, everything takes influence from something else. But originality in and of itself does exist, yes. Do you believe your imagination has a limit? Your imagination has a limit only in so much as you understand and can imagine. Like, if you don't know what something is, and you can't picture it in your mind, obviously you can't imagine it. So imagination has a limit in that sense, but I mean, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. So it's only a not even a self-imposed limitation, a limitation based by your surroundings. No, insanity is not key to being a genius because I know a few insane people and they are not geniuses by any stretch of the imagination. Are some geniuses brought about by ideas people would consider insane? Yes, absolutely, but they aren't truly insane. So, no. I didn't see what the last word was, I'm sorry. I said no. Do you believe that one day the world will speak only one universal language? One day there may be an official one language, but there'll always be somebody making up like a second language or even like a secret language or something like that. Ideally, like I am a general supporter of globalism, and we should all be on the same page, yes, but there will be a language everybody knows, and there will be like our universal language, but it'll still be like kind of like today, most first world countries speak English. Most of European countries are taught English as well as their own language. So it's like English will most likely be the one universal language at some point in time. But there will still be those second and third and fourth languages, whoever can speak them, yes. Do society shape people? More so, yes, than anything else. It's very much environment over genetics. A lot of the times with society shaping people. Because if you grow up in a bad society with bad influences and that kind of stuff, you're going to believe in those bad things most of the time. There are exceptions to the rule, of course. Some people, grow up and rise above and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, society has a greater influence on most people than we'd care to admit. Time erode achievements. In a way, yes. Because when an achievement happens, especially if you're the first person to get that achievement, it's like, yeah, you're first. But then as more and more people do it, it seems like less of a big deal. Like, oh, you're the 600th person to do this. Good job. And nobody gives a fuck. I'm sure you were first, but then like personal achievements, like if you beat a really hard video game or you want to get a job promotion or work or something like that, and you push really hard to do it, like a personal achievement, I don't think time erodes as much as like a more public achievements such as climbing Mount Everest or something like that. Like it's still a great feat and a great deal, but after the first person did, nobody cares as much. So I guess in that sense, time, yes, does erode achievements. Do you believe you possess free will? There's always a good argument for that. Yes, because there's really no other choice in the matter. Like we say we don't have free will, you can't prove either way you do or don't. Does something influence our decisions and make us do things? No. We make our own choices, we do our own thing. There's no God, there's no devil making you do one side or the other, there's nobody possessing you. You make your own decisions, you take your own actions. Now granted, you can have chemical imbalances in your brain that make you depressed or make you psychotic or make you whatever. That can be an argument for that's not really free will because that's not really you, that's your brain fucking up and telling you to do different things. But in general, yes, free will is the correct answer. You believe you are a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy to me means you keep telling yourself you're going to do something, over and over and over and over, you make it happen. There is some truth to that, being in the right mindset and being positive about things and pushing for a goal does, of course, make that goal come around faster versus being negative about it and believing you're going to fail and that kind of stuff. You are more likely to fail. So yes, to a degree, self-fulfilling prophecy, because the way you feel about things influences. It's not necessarily directly self-fulfilling, it influences how much effort you put in, what kind of things you try, how much you try until you give up. So to a degree, yes, we self-fulfill ourselves. If you think you're going to fail, most of the time you will fail. If you think you're going to succeed, I'm not going to say most of the time you will succeed because success varies, but you're more likely to succeed, and you'll feel better even if you don't succeed. And if you don't succeed, you'll be more willing to try again because you went in with that positive mindset. Do you believe some problems cannot be solved? That's a hard question, actually. The vast majority of problems can be solved because sometimes they have to be. Most problems that I feel like can't be resolved are problems with two different individuals that just don't want to meet in the middle or don't want to solve the problem. So the majority of problems can be solved. The ones that can't are either due to two people disagreeing, or more than two people disagreeing, or just ones that we can't yet understand how to solve the problem. Like are the problems that can't be solved right now? Yes, absolutely. Are the problems that I think won't be able to be solved in the future? No, because things will advance, technology will change, or we'll all wipe ourselves out and none of it will matter. So some problems cannot be solved. No, problems will eventually be able to be solved. They cannot necessarily be solved right now, but they will be solved eventually. Do you believe in the existence of karma? No, not particularly, because people just claim everything's karma. Oh, you picked up some trash on the sidewalk and then you found $5. That's karma. Good for you. No, shut up. That's just stupid luck. Luck, to a degree, metaphorically. Karma, no, absolutely not. Because bad people do bad things and they get away with it forever. Nothing bad happens to them. Good people do good things forever. They are thankless and nobody likes them. And sometimes just no good deed goes unpunished and you get that reverse karma. You do something good you feel like is good for somebody and they misread it and you're punished for it. So, no, karma does not exist. Do you believe you can accurately measure a person's success in life? To a degree. You can draw a good probability of whether somebody's going to be successful. You can just look at the zip code they're born in and grew up in. And then, the environment they're around, and who's raising them, who are your parents, who were you born to, what religion did they follow, what schools did they go to. You can somewhat measure a person's success from a very early age. Because there unfortunately are trends like that, where you grew up, who you know, who your friends are, that kind of stuff. You can measure very early in life what their chances are for success. And then success, depends on also how you do it. Are you dealing with personal success or like career success or what? You can measure a fair amount of those different kinds of successes. Now, a person may have their own personal value of what success is, and they may hate the job that they're in, that kind of stuff. But from an outsider perspective, yes, you can measure a person's success in life because you're valuing it as like X, Y, Z, while the person internally may value it, ABC instead. So, mostly yes. Have you achieved everything you want to achieve in life? Everything? No, absolutely not. And you should never achieve everything you want in life because you should always have some kind of goal you're working towards or some kind of idea you want to push forward. You should never, in my opinion, just be content to sit there and be like, you know what, I have everything, I'm happy. Even if they're not necessarily important or arbitrary goals, or they're just there for you. Have something you want to do. Like, you don't necessarily even want to, like, big achievements in life. Have, like, I want to finish this video, I want to finish this game, I want to read this book, or I want to do something silly. Have short and simple goals. Don't just be content and be lazy and be apathetic. Because when you get to that point, it's just you stop caring. So you should never think you've achieved everything you want to achieve. You should always have something else to push for. Have you ever experienced a miracle? I mean, the miracle of childbirth, I guess, but a true to God miracle where something can't be explained? No, absolutely not, because they don't exist. Chance happens, good things happen sometimes, but they're not miracles, they're just things happen when they happened. Would you say you dream often? Yes, but I very rarely remember my dreams. I know that I've dreamed because I remember bits and pieces, but I don't remember them in depth or in detail. When I do dream, or when I do remember my dreams, they're very lucid dreams. Like, I'm always in control of my dreams. Choosing what you do and how you do things. And it feels like you're awake, and then you realize you're dreaming and wake yourself up, kind of. So, you are, sure. Would you say you're plagued with nightmares? No, not anymore. I used to be a little bit, but not so much now. My dreams are mostly just weird dreams where I'm kind of like analyzing my dream. It's not really a nightmare or a good dream, it's just a whatever. Huh, that's weird kind of dreams. Are you sometimes afraid of yourself? Nope, absolutely not. Do you believe you've made an impact in this world? In the world overall, like, not a big impact, obviously, because making a huge impact is hard, because you either need to do something dramatic or have tons and tons and tons of money to do something dramatic. Have I made a difference in individuals' lives? Yes. And has that affected the world? Sure. Because I'm sure, they've gone and maybe they've done something better and that kind of stuff. It's like the butterfly effect or something like that. You do a small thing and hopefully it does something else and leads to something else better and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So I've impacted individuals, I'm sure, in a good or a bad way, depending on how you want to look at things, depending on what happened. But everything you do has an impact to some degree, so yes. Would I consider myself the irrational individual? For the most part, yeah. I very rarely go hysterical or lose sight of things, so yeah. Do you believe you always have full control over your interactions? See, this kind of comes back to the free will question a little bit. Do you always have full control over your interactions? Yes and no. No, because again, the chemicals in your brain may be doing one thing, and that's not truly what you should be. Or if you get filled with emotions, you get angry, sometimes you lash out, and that's not necessarily control. Or you get sad and you cry and scream or whatever, that's not necessarily in your full control. In general, day-to-day scenarios, yes, you do have full control, but when extremes happen, sometimes you lose that control, or sometimes it's not perfect control. So I will say no to that just because of those extremes. Does everything in life have a purpose? No, absolutely not. Not every single thing has a purpose. Some things are just there to be things. Whether they like people assign things purpose in life. Things don't have a purpose until you make up their purpose. But sometimes that purpose is just no fucking purpose. Have you considered yourself to be a fearful person? Again, to a degree. Because everyone's afraid of something. Everyone dreads something in the future, or something happening, or something that might happen. It's just a question of, do you let that fear rule your life today? No. Like, are there things I'm afraid of? Are there things that I'm afraid will happen? Are there things that I think about that terrify me, that make me sad and upset? Yes, absolutely. Do I consider myself a fearful person because of them? No, not really, because they don't affect the way I act. They don't affect, today. So, that's like a 50-50 yes or no. I don't really think so because, like I said, they don't control how I act. They don't control what I do. They're just, those mental, cosmic, adjustable fears in the back of my mind. They're like, So no. Do you have many regrets in life? Honestly, if you had asked me this question like 5 years ago, yes, absolutely. Do I now? Because I look at it as like, I'm happy where I am. I'm very happy with my life right now. If things had switched back in the day, would I be where I am right now? No. Could my situation be improved? Yes, absolutely. Is my situation bad? Am I not happy? No. I'm fine where I am. I'm glad to where things brought me and where things are. So, at this point in time, I would say no, I don't have a lot of regrets. Do I feel like anything is holding me back in life? Yeah, debt. That's about it. Because, I went to school, I'm still paying them college loans. Woo, go USA. But that's really the only thing, probably, because everything else is, I get my job that I want, I push myself forward, I do how things I want to do. I don't feel like I've ever truly done bad career-wise or anything like that. It's just I can't necessarily buy all the things I want, or do something like that, or provide solely for myself. So, yeah, money. Have I ever been heartbroken? That's another tricky question. I don't really think so, because sure, I've had prior relationships that ended badly, and but I feel like they necessarily weren't, like they were on the course to end, basically, when they did end. Because either I wasn't mentally there, or I was getting ready to do it myself and pull the trigger, but the other person did for me. So, you know, things happen. Have I been truly heartbroken? Like, no, because I've always been able to recover fairly quick and that kind of stuff. Whether that's I just have a slightly different emotional spectrum than most people, I don't know. But I don't feel like I have, no, not truly. Have I ever broken someone else's heart? Mate, I don't think so. I don't think so, no. Possibly one person, but I'm not 100% sure about that, so I really don't know. But I don't think so. Do I believe in destiny? No, absolutely not. There is no great future with you in mind that has everything planned out for you. Your destiny is what you make it, basically. So in that sense, yes, but in the overall sense, like there's no overarching grand plan or grand design in the universe. There is no real destiny that way. No, absolutely not. Things are what they are and how you make them. Do you believe the future is unpredictable? No, the future is not unpredictable. The future is very predictable. Very. If you look at the patterns, if you look at the way things are going, you can predict somebody's actions. You can predict the overarching what's going to happen in a way of things. There will always be some variables that are wrong or slightly off or something like that. But for the most part, it's not difficult to predict. It's easy. And most people will see that. Sure, like I said, sure, within it, there may be tiny variables. Somebody may go right instead of left, something like that. But in the overall pattern, like the grand scheme of things, for the most part, it's easy to say this is what the end of the result's going to be. It may not happen. It may not happen in 10 years. It might happen in 12 years instead, or something like that. But overall, yes, it's pretty predictable. Major things, anyway. I should have said yes. Or no, that was not predictable. Do you believe all things in life are connected in some way? All things, no. Like, I'm not connected to the butterfly flying over in China or whatever, maybe something like that. Do I believe that my actions affect other things? Yes. Like, if I go push somebody down in the street, they may break an arm and then they go to the hospital and that affects other people, that kind of stuff. Like, things are connected in that way, but it's not connected to everything. So no, all things are not connected. Would I consider myself to be prideful? Yes, I do have my own sense of pride. I like myself, I like what I do, I take care of myself. I am prideful, yes, absolutely. I don't feel like to a degree that it's bad or that I'm arrogant, but yes. Would you consider yourself to be a vindictive person? I used to be, yes, absolutely. If you did something, I'd hold a grudge. I'd try to get my revenge, whatever. These days, no. People do what they do, and I just really don't give a fuck most of the time. It's like, yeah, good for you, bro. Keep on going. Life will get you back at some point. Even though I don't believe in karma, but you know, it's just you get what you do. Would you consider myself to be a loving person? To a degree, again. In general, no. I don't give a fuck about other people or what you do. Do I love the people close to me? Do I love my family and all that kind of stuff? Yes, absolutely. Am I in general a loving person to other people? No. So, I don't think so. Would you say you usually learn from your mistakes the first time around? Yes. There's very, very few times where I make a mistake and then don't learn from it and correct myself. Usually you show me something once and let me do it and I get it at that point. So yeah. Do you believe that true equality exists in this world? True equality should exist, but it does not. Because humanity will always be fucked up in the way it is. Whether it be racism, sexism, transphobia, something like that, whatever. True equality cannot exist and will not exist. As much as it should. Like individuals, like sure, we all may purpose equality, but even then, even if we do, we still have our biases, we still have our prejudices. No matter how much we deny them, we all do. True equality doesn't exist, and it really can't exist. It's an ideal world that won't happen. Do I always treat everyone I meet fairly? I like to think so. I mean, sure, you go in, like I said, sometimes you go in prejudice. You immediately judge people as soon as you meet them. It can't be helped for most of the time. But you still give them that chance to show themselves to you, see who they are as a person. So, most of the time, I think it is fairly, even though you may go into preconceived notions, but they're not. As long as they don't completely block out what the other person is trying to do and you control yourself. I think yes. I give them that chance to introduce themselves and that chance to show who they are. I believe you've always been treated fairly. Not perfectly, not always, but for the most part, yes. I surround myself with decent people in life who are open and honest with me as far as I know most of the time. There's been a few instances where I've been cheated out of something, whether because, just from nepotism or some sort of favoritism, like in the workplace or something like that. But it's been a long time, been a while since that kind of thing's happened. So overall, I feel like I've been treated fairly. There's been like a few instances, like I said, here and there, but for the most part, I'd say yes. Do you believe you could escape change? No. Change finds you. Change must happen all the time. You can't stay as you are for your entire life and with no kind of growth or development. I mean, you can push it back, you can try to hide, but change will force itself upon you at some point in some way. So, no. Do you ever prolong simple tasks you know ought to get taken care of? Absolutely. I procrastinate like a madman. Back in school projects, I was the kid that, did it the night before, got it done. But the difference was I had the talent to get it done and get still a high below A, that kind of stuff. Like, I never failed things. These days, I would probably suck at it and hate it. Like, I can't stand doing that kind of stuff. But back in the day, yes, absolutely. I procrastinated like crazy. I still do today. I hate doing things. Or certain things. Like, it's like, do I really want to sweep the floor right now when I could do this instead? Yeah, so I'll procrastinate, like cleaning, that kind of stuff, just until it gets on my nerves and I go get it done. But I hate doing it, so I procrastinate and do that kind of stuff. So yes, I do that. Do you believe the ends always justify the means? No, because, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. If in the end, we'll use the chaotic good ranger in D&D for example. Sure, you stopped the dragon and recovered the town's treasure, but you leveled the entire town to do it. Like no, it doesn't work out that way. So no, the ends don't always justify the means. If the end was to bring about world peace, but you had to kill, 6 million Jews in concentration camps, no, that really doesn't kind of justify it. Do you ever use harsh words in speaking out? All the fucking time. I curse. I mean, it's just, and it depends. Like harsh, as in, like just a general curse words. Like you've heard me say the F word several times, I'm sure already. Do I use harsh words? It depends. Like when I'm berating somebody or something like that. Like if it's a work related or a professional environment, no. I'll be open and honest, but I won't use harsh words. Like speaking, and it depends how bad they need to hear what I need to say or what they need to be told. Because sometimes you just have to get through to that person, like, yeah, you're fucking your life up. Stop doing whatever you're doing. And sometimes you just have to be open and brutally honest, and sometimes it does come across as harsh. Do I ever? So in the sense of this question, yes, because sometimes it does happen, but for the most part, no. But you consider yourself to be a resentful person? Not. It depends. Not really. Like if it's just like something small like that, I'll let it go. But if it's like somebody doing something over and over and over and over and over, and you've talked to them, you've tried to do things about it, if they just don't change, or they don't leave you alone. If it's something prolonged and ongoing, then yes, you can resent them a little bit. But if it's just something quick or something like, oh, they got promoted over me, whatever, that's not a big deal. It's just, it happens. So I overall no. Are you putting your best effort into shaping life the way that you want it? The best effort that I am capable of putting forward, I think so, yes. I mean, is there always something you do better? Sure. In hindsight, yeah. But in the spur of the moment, I think so. I think so, yes. Do you believe you've made many mistakes in life? Many? No. Can I look back and point at my mistakes and know where I made them in hindsight? Yes, absolutely. But that's that personal growth and development that people go through. Like, everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes happen. Do I believe I've made many? I think everyone's made many. I don't think anybody can truly say no to that question. Are you willing to try anything once? No, I'm not willing to skydive. I'm not willing to bungee jump. I'm not going to try them. The things like, so just no in general. I'm not going to try everything once. Do I have a pretty good understanding of who I am as a person? At this day and age, yes, I believe I do. I think I've answered that question as we've gone pretty well. Like, I understand who I am, what I want, that kind of stuff. I understand my pros, I understand my cons, I understand my negativity. Have I ever felt like life may not be worth living? Absolutely. Most people feel that way at some point or another. The difference is, if you start thinking about plans and things and ways to change that, like to the worse, then that's when you need to contact help and you need to have somebody listen to you. Like in general, sometimes yes, it always crosses somebody's mind. Like, is there really a point that I'm here? Is there really a reason I'm doing all this? But you just don't make plans. You don't entertain those thoughts for long, or if you do, you seek out help. So yes. If the restaurant was dying and you're the only one who knew, would you tell them the truth about their condition? Yes, because if you're dying, you deserve to know that you're dying, in my opinion. And it depends on what their condition is and how they're doing it as well. Like if they're like in a bad condition and they're suffering every day and that kind of stuff, then I'm a believer in right to die. If they want to choose to have themselves killed or put themselves out, they should have that option. They should have that informed decision. They shouldn't not know they were dying. Like if they're happy-go-lucky, healthy, then it's different. But they should still know, in my opinion. You should always know about your condition if somebody else is. It's not fair that I know that they're dying and they don't. They should be able to make their own informed decision about how they're handling things. Well, there we go. There's the question I just answered. Yes, absolutely. As long as it is a terminal condition. That's not just like like your everyday Joe shouldn't be able to walk into the hospital and be like, hey, I want to die. No. If you're suffering from a terminal condition and you're in bad shape and you're continuously in pain or continuously suffering, and your treatment is less than like 90% chance to succeed, or less than 10% chance to succeed, or something like that, you should absolutely have that option, yes. Have you ever wanted to live forever? Absolutely, because it would be interesting to see the sun explode. Have you ever questioned why you exist? Yes. We go back, I think I talked about that in the previous question of, do you believe your life has value? Every life has some sort of intrinsic value. What that value is largely self-determined, where you value yourself at whatever degree. Sure, other people may put a value on you, your family, your friends, that kind of stuff, but your life has whatever value you attach to it. So, yes. Have I ever doubted? Do I doubt I exist? No, because I'm here, and I have to deal with all the bullshit I have to deal with. Would you consider myself to be defective? Everyone's fucking defective in some way. Nobody's perfect, so yes, we all have mistakes. We all have flaws. Do you believe good can exist without evil as a contrast? I believe that good is almost the default state of things. The majority of people, when given the chance to do the right thing, will do the right thing because the bad thing has consequences. But good without evil. To a degree. Like there doesn't have, like if there's Superman, there doesn't have to be Lex Luthor. It can balance out. So, I'd say yes. Like it doesn't happen. Like good and evil always exist. It just is what it is. But yeah. You ever felt like you were placed here for a greater purpose than which you serve? Not really. People who feel greater callings like that are generally delusional, or just want to push themselves forward to an extreme goal. You're here for whatever purpose you want to make yourself and push yourself for. Like sure, there may be some small things where you can make a difference, like I said, like talking somebody for off of jumping or that kind of stuff. But is there some greater purpose to my existence? No, I don't think so. Would I consider myself a violent person? No, absolutely not. I've been in one fight in my entire life. Generally speaking, I'm not going to throw a punch or do anything like that. I mean, in video games, sure, I'm going to murder you, but in real life, I'm not going to be in a fight. I'm not going to punch. I'm not going to throw the first swing ever. So no, I don't feel like I'm violent. I consider myself to have a dark mind. Yes, in the sense of dark sense of humor, deal with dark things most of the time. Yeah, I would say so. I don't think I have a bright, happy mindset. I'm very, very depressive. I go through my own troubles. Yeah, I would say so. Would I consider laughter to be the best medicine in most cases? Absolutely fucking not. I mean, sometimes, laughter naturally makes you feel a little bit better. It makes you smile inside, that kind of stuff. But in terms of real things, it doesn't really make a difference. It just hides whatever the issue may actually be. Have you ever loved someone who did not love you in return? I think we all have at some point to some degree, but I don't feel like I have to the point where it's been like dramatic. Maybe not even I wouldn't even necessarily say loved. I'd say, you know, you had an interest in them and they didn't back, and it's like, it's not, to me that's not that big a deal. It's like, okay, fine, have a nice day, move along. I don't think to the degree that the question is referring to. Have you ever wished to be loved by all? No, not really, because some people I don't care. Some people like obviously I would rather be loved than like hated or disliked, but for the most part it's like people are people. I don't really care. That's fine. You believe that you'd still live a happy life if you were hated by all? I mean, at first yes, but after a while no, because you have to interact with people in life whether you like it or not. You have to order things, you have to go through lines, you have to go to the stores, that kind of stuff. You have to go out and around people at some point or another. You can't live an entirely antisocial life and be happy, in my opinion. So I definitely couldn't. I don't think so. Like I don't like interacting with people. I generally keep to myself, but I do need a little bit of social interaction and positive reinforcement, that kind of stuff. So no. Are you initially afraid of letting others close to you for any reason? Yes, because people get close to you and then things happen, whether they be good or bad. So it's often a lot of emotion and a lot of things going on. So yeah, I would say yes, just because I don't like meeting a lot of people. Do you have any nervous tics or anxious quirks that you know of? Yeah, I think so. They come and they go. Like sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. So yes, every now and again. Am I a fan of thunderstorms? I like the sounds. I like the thunder and lightning. I don't mind them. But I don't like when they knock out my power and I can't do things I like to do. So, well, good for you, Watcher. I don't care. Am I able to find peace among chaos? Yes, it's easy to find your center and just kind of meditate and chill. In my opinion, yes, I am. Because that's basically my job. It's in my profile if you read. I'm a 911 operator. I have to be the peace in the chaos because that's what I do. Do you believe that you have peace in your life in this very moment? For the most part, yes. My life is. I like my job. I like my family. I like everything going on. So yeah. Have I ever feared that perhaps you have a grim future? Absolutely, I fear that. Everyone fears that a little bit because you don't know your future. I mean, you can try and predict it and that kind of stuff, but you don't really truly know. And you always have a little bit of fear in the back of your mind. Have you ever been overwhelmed with a sense of dread and impending doom? Yes. Would you say that you have many friends? Many friends? No. I have a few good friends, yes. A lot of friends? Many friends? No, not really. And I'm fine with that because I like my few close friends. Would you say that you have many enemies? Again, no. Really, I don't think I have any real enemies. Like, I don't think there's anybody that directly wishes me harm or something like that. So, I say no. Have you ever trusted someone entirely without question? No, never without question, because people lie, people cheat, people serve their own ends, until proven otherwise. Do you sometimes believe that you're destined to be a hero? No, absolutely not. And people, at your job, they say, you did good, you're a hero. Well, it's my job. I don't consider myself a hero for doing my job. I'm that kind of person. It's like, no, I don't want to be a hero. I don't want the attention that goes with it. You sometimes believe that you're destined to be a villain. As entertaining and dramatic as it would be, no, because we're not going to fill like the Star Wars void. I'm not going to become Darth Vader or something like that. That's the only kind of villain I would actively want to be. If you had superhuman powers, would you use them exclusively for good? Absolutely not. My superhuman powers would go towards whatever I wanted them to go towards that I could get away with. As I wouldn't try to draw attention to myself. I want to live the low-key life. Like, leave me alone. Like, I would use them. Like, I don't necessarily think I'd go crazy, like rob banks or some shit like that, but they wouldn't be exclusively for good now. If I had the chance to do good with them and then nobody would know about it, maybe yes, but for the most part, I'd probably keep them to myself. You often find beauty in those who cannot find beauty within themselves. To a degree, because everyone has some kind of positive character trait or personality or something like that. There's something positive there. Sometimes you have to be the person to find it and tell them, like, hey, you're looking at this wrong. This is what I see. This is what other people in the world see. And you help them out that way. So I think so. You're not difficult finding beauty within yourself. No, I know when I'm good. I know when I'm bad. Like, I overanalyze myself like a madman. And sure, I'm that kind of person. You could probably look at me and tell me something about myself that I'm looking at wrong. But I see good things. I see bad things. I see a lot of things within me. So, no, I don't think so, though. Sometimes suffering is a necessary part of life. Suffering will always happen in life. Suffering is unavoidable to a degree. Again, whether that be, a loved one dying, or just going through hardship or pain or whatever, suffering will always happen. Should it be a necessary part of life? No. Does suffering mean that you understand joy more? Not necessarily. But suffering will happen. Suffering has to happen to a degree. So yes, I think it is necessary. Have you ever caused someone to suffer unnecessarily? I don't think unnecessarily, no. Because again, we'll go back to the breakup scenario. You break up with somebody, it may cause suffering on both your ends because you may not feel good about it. But you're doing what's better. You have to do what's better for yourself first before you worry about doing what's better, something better for others. So it's not unnecessary. So I don't think so. Like it's like suffering unnecessarily would be like if you go outside and like slash your tires or something like that. You make their life more difficult for no reason other than your own chuckles. So no, I don't think so. I've never been directly evil to somebody for no reason. No, torture is never justified, and I'll tell you why. Because I talked about this in the trolley problem too. Torture isn't justified because when you torture somebody, they're just going to tell you what they will think you want to hear, whether it's truthful or not, just so they can, stop being tortured. So in the end, torture no isn't justified because it doesn't get results really, and it just causes pain and hardship for no good reason. You feel like life is torturing you? Not really, no, because we all go through hardships. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, everything always works out right. So, do you believe that war is necessary for peace? No, I believe people just need to stop being assholes for there to be peace. But the only way that peace will happen too is if war succeeds and we wipe everybody out of the earth, plain and simple. There's never going to be true 100% peace. But there doesn't need to be a war to make peace either, because people just need to reconcile their ideas. Like, are there some people that are objectively wrong in the world and some things that are wrong? In my opinion, yes, absolutely. Do we need to go over war of it and kill them? No, we need to people need to be educated better. People need to be in better environments. The world just needs to improve in those ways. We don't need to go to war and kill everybody. Do you find violence to be entertaining? Like true violence? Like somebody fighting in the street? No, not really. Like in movies, like Gladiator, stuff like that? Yes, violence is fun. Violence is entertaining. In video games and shooting people? Yeah, of course. Do you believe that morality can be taught? That's another one of those. Some things, yes. Because, people grow up believing, people being gay is a choice and bad. Or that murder is justified under certain circumstances. Or that a prostitute should be stoned to death. Or that a person who got married before they were, or a person that had sex before they were married should be killed. And those things are, in my opinion, objectively amoral because, So morality can be taught, but morality, if somebody's left to their own devices and grows up in a fairly neutral environment, I think morality leans more towards the right direction than otherwise. I think bad morality is taught more often than good morality. Good morality tends to just happen if you let it happen. Bad morality, like, gays should be stoned, interracial couples are bad, that kind of stuff, racism, that kind of stuff is taught 100%. Good morality tends to just happen. Good morality is the default, in my opinion, from life in general, from what I've seen. Bad morality is taught. So, I mean, yes, we'll answer that question. Success is always a good thing. No. Because we'll go back to, I forget what the theory is called, but we'll go back to job advancement. You do super good at your one job, so you get promoted to something else. But then you have no idea what you're doing, or you're not good at that job. The only reason you were good at your last job is because you were a professional at it, and you didn't have a choice but to be promoted, so you want to go back and you want to take a step back. Sometimes success bites you because you're not prepared for it, or it isn't what you really wanted. So sometimes, yeah, success isn't always good. You get away with breaking any laws that you wanted to. Would you walk around doing anything and everything you wanted? No, because just because you can get away with the law doesn't mean somebody else is going to shoot you for it or something like that. Like, if I could get away with stealing $1 million or something like that from a bank or something, yeah, sure. But I wouldn't do everything and anything I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't go murder people. I wouldn't hurt anybody to those degrees. Like, you're stealing money from a bank, that's not really hurting anybody. Most of your money's insured, all that kind of stuff. So, would I walk around doing anything and everything? No. I would do certain things, yes. Would you say you always know right from wrong when making decisions in life? Based on what information I have, yes. Sometimes more things come to light later on, you realize you made a wrong choice. But in the moment, I think so. Would you consider yourself to be an excellent judge character? Yes, most of the time. There are very rare times where I can't pick somebody almost right away, whether they're what they're going to do or how they act as a person. Unfortunately, I mean sometimes I'm proven wrong, of course, but it doesn't happen often. So excellent might be a little strong for it, but yes. Are you good at telling when someone is lying? Yes, most people are seriously obvious when they're lying, and it's just you can just read their face. You can just tell. I mean, not all lies are bad, obviously, but a lot of times, yes. Especially when it's a bad lie, though. Like if it's somebody genuinely hiding something that you should know or that you're supposed to know, they often feel bad about it and they telegraph themselves very obviously. So yes. Would you consider yourself to be a talented liar? I try not to lie generally, so I don't think so. I don't really feel like I've ever really had to lie. I said, every child lies about silly shit. Like, no, I didn't break the window. I didn't do this, whatever. But children suck as liars too, so no. Are you always honest with everyone you meet in life? No, because if I don't like you, I keep things civil with everyone in life. I'm not always necessarily honest with people. Like, if I don't like somebody, I won't make it obvious I don't like you. Like, I'll still talk to you and that kind of stuff, but I won't go out of my way to do good things for you or be nice to you or talk to you. Am I always honest? I don't think so, but it depends on your definition. I had a stray animal and bonded with it over the course of a year, only to be confronted by the owner a year later asking them back. Would you return it to the original owner? If I found a stray animal that was in good shape and not like obviously suffering or something like that, like I found like an indoor cat outside, but I didn't have a collar or something like that, but it was obviously well maintained and taken care of. I would look, on Facebook, look for posters, look for that kind of, look for the missing animal. If over the course of a couple months, if I couldn't find the owner and I ended up just keeping it, yeah, it's mine. If they come up a year later, like, hey, you found my cat I saw. You know what? It's been a year and you're just now looking for it. Fuck you, go away. It's mine now. So no, I wouldn't return it. Now, if it was like a dog or something like that, and the dog was obviously still clearly bonded with its own owner, then maybe. But it also depends on what condition, like I said, I found the stray animal in. If the stray animal was obviously neglected or in bad shape or something like that, then no, absolutely not. If they were in good shape, like I said, like it's an obvious well-groomed house cat or well-groomed dog or something like that, then maybe depending on how it acts to the owner. But for the most part, I don't think I would. Do you often see the good in someone even when there isn't there? I will try to. Does it always work? No. Because there usually is some kind of good there. They're usually good at something. And a lot of times you try to put that good there. You try to see that good. You try to push it out at somebody. But eventually you accept the fact that no, it isn't there. It just doesn't happen. So, I often see the good, yes. Do I try to force the good? Yes. Do I give them every chance in the world to make the good happen? Yes. Sometimes it doesn't. Do you believe the difference between good and evil is only a matter of opinion? No, for the most part, because there is objective good, there is objective evil. As much as people want to say it's all subjective, blah blah blah, no. There is objectively good things, there are objectively bad things. Murder is always evil. Plain and simple. There's some, but occasionally murder is justified. Like murder in self-defense is justified, and not necessarily evil, but it's not really murder at that point. You're defending yourself. If it's you or them, it has to be them. But that's not an opinion, it's just different situations, different circumstances. Circumstances and situations are not opinions. So, no, I don't think so. No, love isn't a weakness, but it's also not a strength. Love just is love. You love somebody. You do something for them or you don't. Would you consider yourself to have fortune or luck most of the time? Yes, things generally tend to go my way in the long run and work out. Whether that be luck or however you want to decide it. If you choose to believe in destiny or you choose to believe in fate, maybe. But I think I do have luck. Or things do work out my way and tend to work out good, so. Merciful but just, basically. Like you make a mistake, you do something wrong, it's whatever, it's fine. As long as you own up to that mistake and you adjust yourself and you accept the consequences of that mistake. Like, you're not just going to be forgiven for making the same mistake 37 times in a row. But if I see you trying to correct that mistake and trying to better yourself, then yes, absolutely be merciful. Is honesty always the best policy? 99% of the time, yes. Because it's always worse to lie and have that lie found out later on than to just be honest up front. So, for the most part, yes. Have you ever broken an important promise even though you knew that you shouldn't? I don't think I have, but if you knew that you shouldn't, then you shouldn't. But if it's something like, hey, I'm gonna go play in the caves, don't tell anybody, and you promise, and you think they're gonna get in trouble or they've been out longer than they should be, yeah, you're gonna tell somebody your friend went to play in the caves or whatever. So I don't think so, but some promises you have to break like that. For example, the extremes. But is ignorance bliss? Yes, but it's also, you know, I wouldn't want to be there. Because ignorance, sure, you don't know anything, but then you don't know anything. I like to know things. So, have you ever wondered if life could be a test? I used to be religious. I used to teach Sunday school and be a little Christian boy, you know. Back then I thought, maybe. But these days, no. You should just do the right thing as a person. Live life better and make the world better for the next generation, basically. Is life a test? Is life some grand scheme of things? Am I going to go up or down? It's not. No, I don't think so. Have I ever wondered it? Yes, everybody's wonders it at some point, but... I don't think you do. I feel like you're going to do some random stuff. You're so much better in such a short period of time. I'd like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity. It truly has been a pleasure. As a token of my gratitude, I would like to bestow upon you a gift. This is the gift of insight, Wanderer. I will tell you what I see deep within you. Please listen to my words carefully, Wanderer. You say Wanderer a lot. For they bear the weight of your soul. Nothing ever truly goes to plan, does it? No. How many plans have you made? How many of them have turned out exactly the way that you wanted them to? Most of them. How about it? That could be Wanderer. Now think about something else. Think about where you are now. Did you really need your plans to work out the way you wanted them to? Perhaps some of them worked out better than expected even. Perhaps some of those plans have led you to places that you never would have made it to had your plans succeeded and come to fruition. The important thing to realize and understand is that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it at the time. Every once in a while our plans do work out, now don't they? How many times have you wanted something really, really bad, and once you finally obtained it, it wasn't as good as you had hoped it to be? Perhaps life has its own set of plans. Perhaps life gives us everything we need, possibly things we didn't even know we needed. And perhaps we should be grateful for everything life has not given us, for we'll never truly know what horrid destination is at the end of the road that looks so beautiful in our eyes. It is important to recognize that no matter what, you're going to be okay, just as you have been all along. Exactly. Of course you're going to go through times of pain, times of suffering. But when it starts to hurt, pay close attention. For that is life attempting to teach you something you desperately need to know. Those who hurt the most are often the wisest, Wanderer. Such is the price of knowledge. Wherever you may roam, rest assured, you will find home. Okay, Metallica. And whenever it is time to uplift your roots and make change, rest assured you will end up exactly where you need to be, whether you realize it or not. Heed these words, Wanderer. They will help you in your journey forward if you let them. I want to give you one more parting gift before I take my leave. A simple gift, if you will. One singular words. And that gifted word, Wanderer, is planning. Okay. Remember this word moving forward, for it will help you in ways that you couldn't possibly fathom. Trust me on that. And with that, I take my leave. Until next time, Wanderer. Enjoy the streams. Okay. There you go, you see the extra shit they're putting out. Give me a lot of post text. So, GG, do you want to go answer the question yourself and see what word you get? Go ahead. Very easy. Just answer the questions. It took me an hour. Wow. So it'd be faster than that. But that's because I explained my answers. They just click, 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 click. So that's fine. GG's.